Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Secretary
again.
Dunn. It's nice to see you and your team again.
To see you.
The past few years, I've asked this question, and I want to focus on it again, and it has to do with connectivity and access to high-speed broadband all across the Commonwealth, and we've all agreed that bringing access to unserved areas throughout the state should be a priority. And as you are aware, a policy statement that was adopted over 2 decades ago by your predecessors banned the construction of new towers and other related broadband infrastructure on state game lands. Now, upholding a complete ban on the siting of new broadband infrastructure on state game lands is inappropriate, especially given the numerous ways that infrastructure can blend into natural environments and given the need to help all of our constituents gain access to that connectivity, many of those folks located in and around those specific areas.
Sure.
Additionally, did some research, quick search on your website, and there is an entire article posted there on March 9th of last year, and it discusses the growing popularity of solar deployment on DCNR lands. So my question is, if the department is okay with citing these solar installations within state parks and state-owned forestry lands, what is the hesitancy or the holdup in removing the moratorium on connectivity and broadband infrastructure?
Sure, and I'll focus on the DCNR lands for that. The term moratorium is a misnomer. I'm not even sure we're using it. We have 330 towers on DCNR lands, not game lands, but DCNR lands. And so when we get a request, we want our field staff to elevate the request to central office because there's many factors that feed into a decision. One is, like you said eloquently, broadband is a critical public interest issue. During the COVID pandemic, kids went to school using broadband. The people worked using broadband connectivity. So we recognize that as a public interest. And I can name cases where like county commissioners called us and said, they got a hold of some ARPA money, they wanted to apply it to broadband, and we acted fast to accommodate within, and protect the viewshed, protect the natural environment. That we've got a good record on that. In terms of like the placement of towers, we do want to have a lot of say in that. There's some of the proposals that come in. I think almost anybody sitting here would agree would be a bad idea. There's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. Mike leads our tower effort and our broadband work, connects with DCD broadband, and we get a lot of tower requests. Some of them have no public interest for Pennsylvania at all. They're moving stock market quotes from Chicago to Manhattan. So, obviously there's not a public interest here. State police, we've always had a safety exception. So when state police need a tower, we make sure they get something in a location that accommodates the public safety need. We often work with them on siting because we do have 330 towers already. First choice for us is often, can it be co-located with an existing tower? Could it even be hung on an existing tower? So we have a good track record. We do have the obligation, to preserve the constitutionally the right people have to clean air, pure water, the environment, aesthetic values are included. So we're thoughtful about our approach. Now, could we do better on connectivity in the public lands? Yes, I think we're very interested. Like looking at this recreation economy we're talking about, a lot of people are using apps. They want to look up, the plant, and they want to look up. So we realize it's a new day on connectivity, and we want to work proactively. But I think the key for us is we're charged by the legislature to manage the state forest and state park lands, and we take that stewardship seriously. So it's very important that we have that ability to determine where.
Certainly appreciate your stewardship and recognize how important the outdoor economy is to Pennsylvania,
We've done it, yeah.
back home in York County. Also recognize that we have a considerable amount of capital projects funds,
Yeah.
as well as infrastructure dollars coming into the state. We're looking to close those holes in the fabric of fiber that covers the Commonwealth. So under the new administration, has there been any thought on repealing that moratorium, addressing that moratorium? We're going to have very limited time in order to deploy these dollars in this infrastructure. And so having a lengthy process with
Right.
you could mean that people won't get the connectivity that we're all going to be paying for. We're stewards of those dollars, but federal
Right.
taxpayers who are also Pennsylvanians will have to pay for them. How's that all going to work under this
Yeah,
new
so I think,
administration?
I'll turn to Mike for a little more detail on how we approach it. The word moratorium, I mean, that applies like if someone wants to put a stock tower and move signal. I mean, the forest district that request comes to is supposed to elevate the question. As far as broadband, we've identified that as a public interest. So there's no moratorium on that per se. We just want to locate at the right location. And let me ask Mike to go into a little more detail. He sits in meetings all the time about this. But then I hope I don't come out of time. I'd love to talk about your York County work maybe in a second round. It's the great work you've done in York County on outdoor rec. It's actually a really good model. You know, county commissioners from around the state are in town right now, and I think the York County model on utilizing funding for outdoor rec and to create opportunities for citizens is a really good
We're
one.
always happy to welcome
Yeah, it's really,
visitors
it's a
to
good
York
model,
County.
and it's been
Yeah.
successful.
Thank you.